Okay, Simply Human fans, we've got garden edition for glute training today. So, what we talked about on the podcast was several exercises that you can do to start making your glutes stronger and more active. So the two-legged glute bridge is pretty common one you see, but there's a few ways you can do it wrong. One is pushing from your upper back and pressing up through here. The other is using your hamstrings to do the entire exercise and really kind of feeling them cramp up. So here's how you alleviate both of those. Put your hands on your hips right here, right on the hip bones, and then feel yourself roll your low back into the ground and feel those hip bones tip back towards you. Brace your tummy muscles like you're kind of waiting for a sucker punch. You're ready for someone to hit you, and hopefully no one will. Then from there, squeeze your glutes and make sure that's the primary focus of what you're squeezing. And then as you do that, you'll bridge up as high as you can into a straight line, stopping when you hit a nice even position from knee to hip to shoulder, and then lower back down. And as long as your low back's on the ground, you can go back up and bridge again using those glutes. If you come down and that low back is missing from the ground, just reset it. Re-roll everything back in, and then bridge up and return to the ground. To do the one-legged version, which we talked about as well, you'll take a similar setup with feet about hip width apart. One leg is going to extend, and this is what I was talking about, the difference with how I like you to do a one-legged glute bridge compared to how you see them done in the gym. We're going to make this a nice long lever by extending it out. Same drill. We're going to roll the low back into the ground, bracing the tummy as if ready for a punch, and then bridge up using the glute muscle here, going however high you can to feel the activation, and then lowering back down. Notice I didn't kick with this guy. We didn't come up with it here. And also, we talked about this on the show. If that's really hard and you really can't get any height, that's okay. Start here and bring it into your chest. And that way it takes away the long lever, and you'll go into the bridge from there and then lower back down. Same rules apply. If you feel it in the low back, you probably need to re-roll the hips into the floor, okay? Now, the next one we talked about was that forward-reaching lunge. And I remember Rick was like, what? I don't understand. So let me run you through this. So a traditional lunge generally looks like this, right? Chest up, 90-90 on the knees. This forward-reaching lunge is going to be a full tip over, and only one knee is going to bend. So I'll take my left arm up, and I'm going to step out with that right leg. This is the leg that's going to bend. I'm going to hinge over, like I'm trying to reach for this leaf right here, and pick it up. And then I'm going to push off that front leg and return to standing. Now there's some tricks to this one. When you're in that full step out, you want the butt to stay about the same height the whole time, and you'll feel the stretch through the hamstring as you do that, and even feel the glute stretching out a little bit. As you come out of that position, you want to feel yourself push all the way back up. So if you come back up and you're like this, when you come up, we know that's terrible posture anyways. We want to bring our chest up tall and really lift up out of our torso. So in real time, it would look like this. Forward step, push back and squeeze, butt's nice and tight. Same leg again, and back. That's your forward reaching lunge. Then we've got the GA squat, or the glute activator squat. 4 points to this one. The first one is here. Feet are shoulder width apart or slightly wider even with toes turned out just a touch. We're going to go from arms overhead to forward fold to the ground. Take a nice stretch of the hamstrings there, and if you can't get to the floor, no worries. You're going to go wherever you can, keeping a nice straight leg position, and then bend the knees to get yourself the rest of the way there. Okay? So that's in our part 2. We're either here or here. Part 3, we're going to bring our butt down as low as we can, chest up nice and tall. We're looking for a spine about this straight, so it's helpful to use a mirror the first few times you try this. If you can't get to this position because of movement restrictions somewhere else, let's say maybe you're here. And you're like, that's it, that's all I got. What I want you to do is from this position, move into an upright chest. Then you'll be ready for part 4, which is this. Arms are going to go overhead, dig through your heels, stand back up. So let's run through both of them in real time because there's a couple variations. Full, complete, like free of restriction movement looks like this. Forward fold. Okay? Maybe we have a little bit of hamstring restriction, so it might be like this. And maybe you don't have the overhead reach that I do. So in that case, you'd come here, you'd fold to the ground, go however low you're going to go here, and that way you can get that nice up chest. Dig through your heels and stand up, and that would be just as fine as well. Okay, let's go on to the next one, which is the Bulgarian split squat. That's in the front garden. All right, Simply Human fans, welcome to garden number 2. I hope you have at least one garden to do your glute training in. If you don't, maybe you should get to building one, but for real, do this in a gym if you don't have a garden, but you know, it is summer. You may as well get out and train in it. This is our Bulgarian split squat. So you're going to find a box or a bench to stack your foot up on. If you've got foot restrictions, this will probably not feel good. So you're going to need to flip your foot the other way. And if that's the case, go find our episode on foot strength and mobility. Listen to it and start applying that stuff ASAP. Either way that you're going to do your foot, choose that position. Eyes are on something on the horizon. Tummy is braced and set, ready for activity as always. And then from this position, we're going to bend both knees, keeping the load on the front leg, in particular right here. I can feel that guy stretch and then flex. If you do this one incorrectly, you're going to probably mess it up one of two ways. Let me show both. Either you'll bend just the front knee and come back up. Can you see the difference between this one and this one? Okay, we want both knees to bend. The other way you might mess it up is to actually load the knee on the back leg, and in which case you're going to feel a lot of tension and pressure through here, and it really won't feel very good. So you want to pretend like this is so light it doesn't even exist. Of course it does, and it's attaching you to the earth or the box or whatever you're using, but you're going to have it so light it's almost as if it doesn't exist, and that way the load stays right here. And then you can sink down and press up and feel all the work focusing here. That's your Bulgarian split squat, combined with everything else I've just shown you, is going to be your primer for getting your glutes strong, functional, and looking lovely. Have a great summer.